Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. It's 12:02. Now let's get started. All right, we're ready to go? Yes? Okay, great. Hello and welcome back to the third annual New Year Wellness Series, packed with meaningful guidance on spiritual, relational, emotional, nutritional, physical, and mental wellness. I'm Robin Rubin, founder of the Robin Rubin Center for Happiness and Life Enhancement. This center is housed in the Sandler School of Social Work within the College of Social Work and Criminal Justice at FAU. We offer weekly online meditation sessions, bi-monthly in-person yoga classes, and monthly wellness workshops. All of our offerings are free of charge and open to everyone: students, faculty, staff, community members, friends, anybody who you want to invite. The Robin Rubin Center for Happiness and Life Enhancement is pleased to co-sponsor this series with our friends at the Marcus Institute of Integrative Health at FAU Medicine. Integrative Health is a holistic, patient-focused approach to healthcare and wellness. At the Marcus Institute, their physicians treat the whole person by examining everything that makes up a patient's health, including factors that can lead to disease, affect nutrition, exercise, and stress. Ultimately, patients and physicians are partners in healing and wellness. We're posting links in our chat and invite you to learn more about the Robin Rubin Center and the Marcus Institute and make plans to join us again in the near future. Dale, you're going to post, right, in the chat?
Does everyone see the links in the chat?
Great. It is my honor to introduce today's speaker, Ananda Nelson. She's a licensed clinical social worker, as well as an alumni of the Phyllis and Harvey Sandler School of Social Work. She maintains a personal, lifelong meditation practice, and she integrates into her psychotherapy practice, combining clinical knowledge with the wisdom of mind-body connection to support her clients in their healing. She is also the alumni representative for the Robin Rubin Center for Happiness and Life Enhancement. I'm also pleased to say that she's also a dear friend, and I love her. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Ananda. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Just give me like a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah, okay, amazing. Well, I am so excited and so thrilled to be here with all of you today. As Robin said, I am a licensed clinical social worker here in South Florida, getting both my undergraduate and graduate degrees from FAU. And the topic that we will be covering together today is this concept of spiritual wellness. So we will be identifying what does it mean to be spiritually well, while also attaining clarity to what that means to you individually. But of course, what is knowledge without application? We're also going to cover different ways to apply these understandings and to have the opportunity for full integration in your life. And if you have any questions at all during the presentation, just make note of them and we will do questions at the end. And I am going to note that this does end at 12:45. So if you need to drop off, feel free. But of course, you can stay on as long as you would like and we will get all of your questions answered. So all I need you guys to do is just sit, be present, aware, and just receive all of the things that we're going to talk about together. So, what is spiritual wellness? And what does it mean to be spiritually well? Spiritual wellness means having a connection and relationship to your individual belief of a higher power or essence of life, and through that connection, having a deeper and more intimate relationship to yourself, to others, to life and its events, and to have clarity on your own sense of meaning within this very complex life experience. And as a natural byproduct of this connection, giving purposefully through service. And there's many aspects of spiritual wellness that we will get into, but let's get even deeper just into the basic framework of spirituality. So to me, And not only now, but in the science, spirituality is said to be innate, that we have an innate capacity and availability for transcendent awareness. Some people may have an easier time accessing this awareness, but we all have it deep within us. And it's up to us to choose to cultivate a relationship with this transcendent awareness. But in more simpler words, spirituality is our capacity to be in a deep and dynamic relationship with the deeper presence or essence in life. And now, spiritual wellness can be through your choice of religion or faith, but it applies to anyone on any path of their spiritual journey. And questions we may ask ourselves is, why does it matter to be spiritually well? Why should we develop a personal relationship with spirituality? And what value does it give to us? And some would say that our spiritual wellness is to be our top priority, as to live without the spirit of life within our hearts and in our bodies is a life that is unlived. And if there is to be an essence of life that is moving throughout all of creation, human, plant, organism, animal, but we're not aware or awake to that unity and connection, it can lead to higher rates of anxiety, depression, suicide, and other mental health issues. Mental health at times is a spiritual crisis, as mental health issues often stem in feelings of disconnection, loneliness, confusion, unhealed trauma, lack of trust, and many other issues that sort of compilate into mental health as we know it. And if we can recognize that we are part of a bigger collective whole of humanity, we can help alleviate the suffering of those who feel that they don't belong on Earth, which is unfortunately very common, especially in our younger youth communities today. So to be spiritually well, that includes our mental and emotional wellness, as when our spiritual core is strong, everything else naturally becomes stronger. And it's not uncommon when we go through stress and trauma for there to be emotions that are repressed for the sake of safety and survival. So depending on the appropriate time to start unpacking these complex emotions and traumas experiences, it is our responsibility to acknowledge and process those emotions that have kept us stuck and disconnected. And when we are responsible for breaking those unhealthy, non-serviceable patterns within ourselves to be able to integrate these more healthy and supportive habits in our lives, we can see our lives transform in ways we never could have imagined. So here we're going to do our first experiential exercise. So whether you are going to write this out on a piece of paper, you can type this up on your computer, on your phone if you have it available, and if you just want to ponder it. But I invite you to write it down so that you have it there in front of you. And I'm going to put these in the chat, but I'm going to ask them first. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, what is a mental or emotional pattern that I know is bringing me out of peace or joy? How does it take or steal from me? What is a habit I know I have needed to implement, but have perhaps avoided out of overwhelm or lack of motivation? And why would it help me? So I'm going to put these in the chat here. Chat. So all I would like each of you to do is just take a minute, 2 minutes, whether write these out to yourself on paper, in your phone, on your computer, and then just give me sort of a thumbs up or a done when you feel complete with that. Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, others. I'll just give maybe another minute. Perfect. And just right off the bat, is there anything that anyone wants to share just in the chat that they either know they've needed to do or just something that came up that maybe you weren't even expecting is there? Totally up to you, but feel free to share it. Yes, Robin. Ooh, yes. I love that, Becca. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want you guys to keep these to the side. We're going to come back to these and we're going to add to it. Ooh, more. Let's see. Ah, yes, Sarah. All of these answers are very spot on. Yeah. Ruminative thinking. Okay. Amazing. Thank you all for all of your shares. This is perfect for the direction that we're heading in. All right. So again, I want you to keep these to the side. We are going to come back to them. We're going to add to them. But I want to give some context, right? Like, what are the basic fundamentals of spiritual wellness that we can all be aware of? As when we are aware of our basic fundamentals and morals, we always have a framework to return back to that helps ground us, that helps us to make honorable decisions, and to maintain our character through times of difficulty or change. So I came up with just 7 basic fundamentals of spiritual wellness through my research. I'm going to list them and explain them. If you want me to put them in the chat eventually, I can, but I'm going to just say them off at first. So the number one, the first aspect of this fundamentals of spirituality and spiritual wellness is the ability to reflect. So we need to be able and willing to reflect, as when we are self-aware, we can see the thoughts, the emotions, and the patterns that keep us from living in a heart-centered place in various areas of our life. Number 2, discernment of harm versus service. So to have a mindful awareness if we are causing harm or good in any situation, again, will allow us to stay centered in our core principles and values. Number 3, accountability. Accountability keeps us humble, keeps us open for feedback, and it allows for safe interpersonal relationships. And again, without relationships in our lives, in our loneliness, we can't grow. We can, but not to the full extent that we were designed to. Number 4, willingness to change and grow. So to be willing to evolve out of who or what we once were allows that divine intelligence of God or life to expand within us, allowing us to be resilient and adaptable. Number 5, connection to the transcendent or to a higher power. This connection to the essence of God or life opens the way for our living and our existing to be a much more deeper and richer experience, while also attuning us to the energetic information that is naturally healing. Number 6, having clarity of your sense of personal purpose and expressing it. So when we feel that sense of purpose in our lives, we are able to express it. We are able to connect with the harmony. And again, connecting with the essence of life, of love, of God, and sharing it with others. And it's the opportunity to make an impact bigger than ourselves. And the last one, 7, intentional action. That when our actions are thought out with more intent, we can prevent ourselves from acting out of unconscious states of awareness that may cause harm and or allowing us to make, again, bigger impact with our choices. These first 6 fundamentals, I believe, sets up for intentional action. So now using these 7 basic fundamentals as framework, we get to identify our own personal and spiritual values. So similar to our previous exercise, whether on your computer, on a piece of paper, in a journal, we're going to write out your top 5 spiritual values. There can be more than that, but I want you to try to choose at least 5. But prior to going into that, we are going to do just 1 minute of simple breathing to really get us attuned and connected to this present moment to get that clarity on our values. So whenever you're ready, if you are able, if you are sitting and available, not driving, I will share these in the chat, after. But whenever you're ready, just take a nice, slow, deep breath in through the nose if you can. Letting it go. And if you can, just allowing your eyes to gently close, or at least looking somewhere that you can focus. And allowing your breath to expand inside of your belly. Letting it go. Allowing your body to truly rest in the seat that you are sitting in. Allowing your heart just to be gently open. And if there's anything on your mind that is attempting to bring you out of the present moment, just reminding it that you'll come back to it later. Taking another gentle, slow, deep inhale. And then just quietly to yourself, ask yourself, at the present time, for what I know now, what are my spiritual values? Just see what comes through. Allow it to sit and land inside of you. And then whenever you're ready, you can bring your awareness fully back into your body, but write out those 5 top values. There could be more, whether you type them or write them. And maybe your spiritual values have changed as you've learned and grown. So what's present and available for you now? And again, whenever you're complete, feel free to give me a thumbs up in the chat or on your screen. And if there's any values that you want to share in the chat when you're complete, that is open and welcome. I'm loving these so far. Ooh, yeah. I think courage is a big one. I'll just give another minute for anyone else to wrap up. And if there's anything that anyone wants to share, put in the chat. Yes, Robin. I think you're pretty good at that. If there is anyone who needs another minute, just write in the chat what would be a good code word. Minute. All right. Yeah, I love that, Sarah. Okay. Again, I want you to keep these. We're going to put them to the side. Again, these are your personal spiritual values. But of course, how do we practice these spiritual values in real time in our lives? And now this is where you get to ask yourself and be accountable and disciplined. I would say those are two key words, accountable and disciplined, with what you say that matters to you. For example, if one of my values is to have regard for all life, I get to ask myself, is there any harshness I'm holding towards someone or something that is preventing me from having regard for them? How can I practice having regard with those I may be frustrated with? So this process of curious questioning, it requires curiosity, patience, reflection, and you can make this process your own. This could be a journaling practice, and this could also be more of a meditative practice. But those are my two favorite forms of application and practice is meditation. And I like to call it curious journaling because we're not trying to shame ourselves for what we've done wrong or what we're not showing up fully as, but more so being curious as to what holds us back from that. So this next question, I'm going to put it in the chat for you to have, and you can write this down or just to be aware of it. But this you can apply to any of your values. So if my value is blank, kindness, compassion, what is in the way of me being kind, compassionate? Where or with who am I not being blank, kind, compassionate? So I'm going to put that in the chat for you to have. Again, you can write it down or just even ponder with it. Throw that in the chat. Perfect. Judgment. So I want you to have that. Again, you can write it down, ponder it, but just for you to have it. And this is where your next level of personal work will lie. That through this work, you'll get to access a deeper level of understanding and integrity within who you say you are and who you want to be. So again, in more simpler terms, spiritual health and spiritual wellness comes through love. This love that sits within each and every one of us. And the work that we are going over today is to help with clearing out what sits in the way of this love being available, what's in the way of us being able to connect to it more easily, more deeply. And more questions that we may need to be curious with ourselves about, especially in this regard to this concept of love. Where am I being loving? Where have I been withholding my love? And where does it feel like love is missing in my life? And I can put those in the chat if you guys want, but I'm going to at least carry on with it. So, through our awakened awareness, we can be more connected to all of these different aspects of our being. And to reiterate, one of my favorite ways to meet these questions and curiosities is through journaling and through meditation, contemplative meditation, as this concept of connection through stillness can be quite remarkable for accessing those deeper states of personal understanding. And something that allows us to engage with each of these practices better is through that conscious, long, slow, deep breathing. That the breath regulates our mind and body together. It re-synergizes it, brings coherence to it, and allows us to get more connected to the practice. So my invitation always will be prior to whether it's meditating or journaling, or if you're going to combine them together, that you do some deep breathing. There are many different types of breathwork techniques out there now, but even just a slow, steady inhale is going to regulate that mind and body, bringing it all back together to the core instead of being scattered all over the place when we're constantly being pulled in many different directions. And we are going to do some of that breathing as we go into this next step of our brief meditation together to get into that deeper and more aware state. So again, if you are able, if you are not driving, if you are sitting, then all I need you to do is get as comfortable as you can. This meditation might be 5 to 7 minutes, so try to get as comfortable as you can. And then when you're ready, just closing your eyes, allowing your entire body to be supported. So if you have access to a pillow or if there's anything that you need. But when you're ready, I just want you to take another gentle, slow, deep breath in through your nose and letting it out. Deep breath in again and releasing it. And on your next inhale, see if you can expand your belly and your chest. And see if you can allow all of your internal organs to just unclench. Anywhere that there is tightness, can that become soft? So just allowing all of the muscles in your face to relax, allowing your hands and feet to rest. And allowing this moment for your body to be soothed. That we are giving our nervous system a chance to reset itself. And then when you're ready, just tuning into your heart in the center of your chest. This vast spaciousness that holds so much light and wisdom. And if there is any heaviness on your heart or any worries, just allow them to be there, but knowing that there's nothing we need to do right now for them. Allowing your mind and your mental space to relax, as there's nowhere else that you need to be and nothing else that you need to do, except be here with yourself in this way. Taking another slow, gentle, deep breath in again. Noticing if it's tight or if it feels challenging. Just continue to breathe. Your body will continue to open. And then when you're ready, just gently connecting to the soul, the essence, the spirit of you, the consciousness that wakes you up in the morning. And maybe you've been disconnected from this part of yourself, or maybe you've been curious to get to know it a little bit better. Just allowing yourself to be. And just intentionally beginning to connect to your form of God, of spirit, of the essence of life. This wisdom that moves through every person, every cell and organ of your body. acknowledging that we all come from the same spiritual core, although we may express ourselves differently in these bodies. And for the next 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to leave you to just breathe and be in the stillness and the presence. Just continue to breathe, and I will guide you when to come out. And it is in this space of stillness and quiet that we can connect to this deeper awareness, to this deeper presence of life. So if you feel called, if you are able, just feel free to bring one hand or both hands just up and over your heart, connecting to this organ that produces the most energy out of your entire body. And just quietly to yourself, ask yourself, how can I be more connected to the essence of life? Just see what comes through. Don't force it. Quietly asking yourself, how can I open my heart more to life? And what spiritual practices will help me to get more connected? Just allowing yourself to receive anything that wants to be shared within you. And whenever you're ready, just taking one more gentle, deep breath into your belly. And just giving gratitude to yourself for creating this time and this space to connect with yourself more intimately, more deeply. And giving gratitude to God, to the essence of life. And then whenever you're ready, just slowly bringing yourself back into your body, allowing yourself to have fresh eyes, eyes that are more attuned to this stillness, to the information that comes with it. And just take your time, be slow and steady. And if there is anything that anyone wants to share of what came up, or even if you were just able to quiet that mind and it's been challenging for you, feel free to share that in the chat. And if anyone is typing or sharing or even just writing to yourself, if you don't already have a meditation practice, I absolutely invite you to begin one, as this is how we access what needs to be changed to allow the insight to make those different choices. And the combination of mindful meditation and curious journaling can open our awareness to things we would not have known were present. We couldn't access it. And when you get specific on all of the things that you are working toward and declaring it, each and every day, you will be working towards becoming conscious enough to heal, to overcome, and change those patterns of thoughts, feelings, and actions that don't align with that declaration of who you do wish to embody. And so, our last prompt together, that again you can write down or just ponder, is how do I apply what I learned here today into my life? Is there anywhere that I need more clarity? And I will put these into the chat as well.
Thank you, Ananda.
Absolutely.
Before we dive into questions and answers, everyone, please take a moment to fill out the survey that's being posted in the chat box right now. We really appreciate your feedback. Just take 1 minute to complete this brief survey.
And just a reminder that everything we learned today are tools that may help you, again, declutter and just move through things that are causing the disconnect between you and your spirit working together, which is the path of spiritual wellness, so that reconnection is waiting for you when we can become conscious enough to connect back to it. So it's these fundamentals that we talked about that I will put in the chat with your personal values that work together. And if you do have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. I will put those fundamentals in there.
So we can open it up to questions. If anybody has a question and you don't want to put it in the chat or you want to ask it, feel free to do that now. Checking. Don't see anything yet. Any questions, anybody?
I think we might be meditated out.
Yeah. So we are just about out of time. If anyone thinks of a question, go ahead and please ask it. But I want to thank you all for being here, particularly Ananda, in broadening our understanding of what it means to be spiritually well. We have learned about digging deeper and finding out what it means for us as an individual and how to learn to integrate and apply these into our life. We hope you make plans to join us next week. Same link, same bat time, same bat channel. Same date, same time, everything stays the same for our final installment in this year's series. Next Wednesday at noon, we'll talk with Rebecca Caston from the Schmidt College of Medicine about an interesting topic, nourishing our mind, our body, and our soul. Until then, be well and enjoy the rest of your day.